Office is pleased to present the 2023 Women of the Year Awards, an event celebrating the women who have made an impact in industries including government, education, healthcare, nonprofits, and technology. Today's event is sponsored by City Creek Center, Overstock Bed Bath & Beyond, Webb, Foley & Lardner, LLP, The Larry H. Miller Company, Little America Hotel, Mountain America Credit Union, Snell and Wilmer, and University of Utah David Eccles School of Business. And now, please welcome your Master of Ceremonies, the Executive Vice President of Marketing and Communications for Waterford.org, Kim Fisher.
Thank you so much, and welcome to the Utah Business Women of the Year Awards. Today, we honor women who have made an impact in business, investment, education, and healthcare. We have an especially impressive group of honorees who are being recognized for their ability to see a path forward where others might not, while also forging a new path for women in the workplace. Now, that might mean helping a company go public, inspiring a company to think differently, challenging assumptions about leadership, or taking new strides in technology and healthcare. Utah Business hopes that by hosting this event, the next generation of women watching will be inspired to take a seat at the table. For women, anything is possible. We can make an impact on this world, no matter the industry. Sometimes we just need to see it in action to ignite our own fire. Well, the women we are honoring today are blazing that trail for the next generation. They have ascended the ranks of their fields, directing prestigious nonprofits, heading up healthcare, technology, and education programs, leading large corporations, and pioneering paths for women. We are thrilled to have the opportunity to hear from each and every one of them today. But before we meet with this year's honorees, a little bit about Utah Business. Utah Business fosters connection, insight, and recognition for Utah's thriving professional community. Through their events, magazine, and websites, they highlight the ideas, innovations, and people behind Utah business success stories. They are all in on Utah and can't wait to tell your stories. Sitting on stage with us today, we'd like to recognize from Utah Business their publisher, Burke Olson. And now help me welcome Editor-in-Chief of Utah Business, Melanie Jones.
Thank you, Kim. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for coming to celebrate the 2023 Women of the Year. We are so glad to have you here with us. I'd also like to thank Lynette, Hannah, and Hayden, who have thought of every detail to make this event beautiful. Last week, I got a haircut, and my stylist asked me what events we had coming up at Utah Business, and I told her about Women of the Year and mentioned some of you in this conversation. She did not know that City Creek Center is managed by a woman. She did not know that the first Mexican-American prima ballerina in the whole country is serving as the director of Ballet West Academy. She did not know that a woman right here in Utah executive produced the Academy Award-winning documentary film, Born in DeBrothels. Did you guys know that? She's here. And she did not know that Utah Valley University's president is a woman. Linda, Evelyn, Geraldine, and President Tuminez are all here with us today. Utah has a reputation for being the worst state for women. It has almost become trendy for outside researchers to disparage us. Do we have room to improve? Of course. Utah business and political entities are banding together to make change for our girls and women through initiatives like A Bolder Way Forward and the Women's Leadership Institute. Pat Jones is in the house today. But some truly incredible women live and work in Utah. There's Gail Miller, who is a household name due to her business savvy, community focus, and philanthropic giving. Thank you for being here, Gail. There's Joelle Hatch Jensen, who, on top of managing a bank branch in eastern Utah, also runs the ranch her husband left behind when he died in a farming accident. That's a whole new skill set, guys. And there's this month's cover model, Adrienne Lee, who led Overstock's acquisition of Bed Bath & Beyond's brand and other intellectual property this summer. One of the biggest deals in Utah, and a woman did it right here. Outsiders can say what they will about Utah, but it's important that we tell our own stories. It's important in terms of bringing new talent and investment to Utah. It's important in terms of showing the next generation what is possible for women in Utah. And it's important to show appreciation to these incredible women who give their best to Utah every single day. At Utah Business, we are proud to find and tell these stories. We also want to express our appreciation to our sponsors. Without their support, we would have no magazine, no awards, and no lunch. So, thank you to City Creek Center in Taubman, Overstock, the new Bed Bath & Beyond, Webb, Foley & Lardner, the Larry H. Miller Company, Little America Hotel, Mountain America Credit Union, Snell & Wilmer, and the University of Utah David Eccles School of Business. Thank you for supporting these women. Thank you also to Minky Couture, who is providing each of these women with a beautiful blanket to snuggle up in after a long day's work. You'll get that at the end. Wow, there's a lot of chatter about that. You all want your Minkies. Love it. I'd like to acknowledge our panel of judges from the community who helped us select the 20 honorees we celebrate today. Joanna McKenna, Michelle DeGeorge, Rochelle Morris, Sylvia Castro, and Yasmin Simonian. Thank you. Congratulations once again to this year's honorees. Let's get to know them better now. Kim, back to you.
All right, as Melanie just said, we are now pleased to move on to the recognition part of today's program. We truly cannot wait for all of you to hear from these amazing women. Let's begin with our first award recipient, Monica Shelton Call. Please turn your attention to the video screens.
So I originally set out with a really strong commitment to public service, and I thought that's where my career would lead me, but I found that it was great to have that part of my life really complement the work that I do and the skills that I could learn at the law firm I was with. Community service is still a big part of my life, and I'm proud to dedicate a lot of time to it, but then have my professional pursuit be in a little different arena and feel like I can grow and use those skills then to help in other areas. So the ones that I find myself most drawn to are causes for women and children. I found a group this last couple years called the National Charity League that is a mother-daughter community service organization that's committed to 13 different nonprofits here in our community that my daughter and I go and volunteer with other mothers and daughters. And it teaches the young women and us older women all, leadership skills. It helps us see the people that we're serving and be really engaged in our community. So I love that it kind of ticks both boxes in order to stay committed to community, but do it with my daughter and help her learn that same tradition that I've grown so accustomed to and just really find is a big part of my life. I see lots of great things for women in the profession. I know as I've matured through my career, the women that are in the legal profession are less and less, which is always a little bit lonely, but I see the next generation, more and more women going to law school and trying to find a way to navigate it, and I have a lot of optimism about what that will look like in a few years as well.
Please welcome to the stage the partner and regional litigation practice group leader of Foley & Lardner LLP, Monica Shelton Call.
you. I'm just so humbled to be here with so many great recipients, and I'm so happy today to share today with my 3 daughters that are here with us so that they can see some of the wonderful things that women here in our community are doing. I want to thank my husband and my daughters for being here. I want to thank my colleagues at Foley & Lardner for their incredible support. It's a newish law firm here to Salt Lake, and I love their commitment to the community and how quickly they have really put roots down here in the city to serve the growing clients and all of the amazing businesses like those that we're here to honor today. So I'm excited about that growth. I also wanted to thank one of my great mentors who's here today, Justice Jill Pullman, who certainly leads the way in the legal community for women and is proud to be on the majority female Supreme Court now that we have in our state. And so I want to thank her for sharing this day with me. I would be remiss if I didn't also take this opportunity when I have a microphone and so many business and political leaders here in our state to not take a minute to say a great depth of gratitude that I have for the caregivers that helped make my career possible. There are many daycare workers that have helped me raise my children and have helped support me as I've pursued my career goals. And I think when we talk about how we can support women and families in Utah, and when I hear our clients talk about growing their businesses here in Utah, it's making sure we have accessible childcare. And so I hope we can all keep that in the front of our minds. Thank you for this honor.
Utah is pretty impressive. I love it here. The people, I'm not kidding, the people are fantastic. Business is great here. Leadership is great in the state. I plan to stay in Utah and raise my kids here, keep them here, and stay here long term. I am grateful that I have been a mentor and someone that people can look up to. I have employees that tell me, man, working for you is great. I know who you are, I can relate to you, and I appreciate what you teach me. And for me, that is probably the most rewarding thing that I can say. We went through a fire last year at our business, and that was devastating. Like, I think that was one of the things that probably knocked me down the hardest. I'm gonna cry, I don't wanna cry. But I have to tell you, what was so cool about it is my team. We all came together after this big disaster, and they were like, we're here for you. We'll figure this out. We're gonna make this work. And do you know, we set up shop in a partial burned building. We set up shop out in the parking lot. We did what it took to make it through it. And you know what? We didn't even skip too many beats. We just kept right on rocking along because I had such an incredible team. It was amazing.
Please give a warm welcome to Monica Millard-Collard with Allied Electric Sign and Awning.
Wow, thank you. That brought back a lot of memories from that disaster a year ago. But I want to thank Utah Business for this award. It's been pretty humbling, especially seeing these incredible women that I have a few I've got to say hello to and meet with. But I want to say just a few words about my passion. The sign and awning industry has been my passion at Allied for 30 years, building a business. And what has been so neat is encouraging and watching the women at Allied grow. It has been incredibly rewarding. But I'm most proud of the leaders that are women at Allied. There are project managers, there's production managers, there's account executives there. 2 of them are with me here today, my beautiful daughters. I could not be prouder of them. Growing a Utah business has been seriously one of the most important things in my life. And I feel like being a mentor and a leader has allowed me to make just a little bit of an impact a little. But now, I'm changing a little bit now. And now I've got some new mentors that are helping me to see that the world needs some global mentors and global leaders to help women all over the world. I want every woman in every nation to know, you got this. You can do it. We believe in you. And so my new mission going forward now is to do all I can to help and support and make a global impact in the world. And I'm hoping that I'll get support and encouragement from so many incredible leaders in this room. Thank you.
I've always loved teaching. I love children. I love working with them. And they gave me the inspiration to be a delightful, new, fresh sugar plum fairy for 23 years. And it was talking with them that would just invigorate the love of dance back into my heart and my spirit. So after retirement, it seemed like a natural transition to pass on that legacy to students that were interested and passionate about the dance world. The important elements of being the director of Ballet West Academy to me are not only passing on the information and the experience that I have as a professional ballet dancer for many years onto the students to make sure that they are solid in their ballet classical technique, but also that they are educated in the contemporary and the character, that they have an opportunity to really hone those skills. I have wonderful world-class instructors that are there who've all been professional dancers, and there are things that you learn through the profession that you can't learn through a book. So everyone is there to pass on those things to our students. It's really important to me that each student feels empowered, that they feel confident, that they learn the skills that will make them the best people they can be.
Please give a round of applause for Evelyn Cisnera-Legate, Director of Ballet West Academy.
Wow, I'd like to thank the Utah Business and the panel for this prestigious award. I'm both honored and humbled to be in such stellar company. My story has been driven by passion. From my first ballet class as an 8-year-old, extremely shy girl, the ballet intrigued and captured my imagination. I saw this art form as a vehicle to express myself without needing to speak. I know it may be hard to believe, but I found it painful to speak, and now I can't seem to stop. Anyway, experiencing the movement to music was transforming. At that time, I didn't even know if I was any good, but I had the hope the size of a mustard seed. I worked my hardest, and God blessed me with the experience beyond my wildest imagination. I was surrounded by some of the biggest talents in the field, and during my 30 years with San Francisco Ballet, I not only discovered my potential, but my husband as well. The ballet gave me experience that I feel responsible to pass on to the next generation. So then the work really began. When Adam Skloot, Ballet West artistic director, called me and invited me to be his academy director, I was so excited about the prospect of working together to build the academy here in beautiful Salt Lake. So with the absolute support and love of my husband, Stephen Legate, we moved our family. Living and working here also feels like coming full circle, since Lou and Harold Christensen founded San Francisco Ballet, where I had my career, and Willem founded our Ballet West. Today we have over 800 students at our 4 campuses, and I think the Christensen brothers would be proud. I believe that every child should have the opportunity to dance, so we offer financial aid and scholarships. All this would not be possible without the support of a brilliant artistic director, Adam Skloot, who hires dancers from the academy into the company, our executive director, Michael Scolomero, and my academy director of business operations, Sarah Taylor, and a brilliant faculty who deliver some of the best instruction and mentoring in the field. Together, we will continue to provide our children in Utah with a hope for a bright future filled with success. It is their turn to shine. Thank you.
In 2023, probably the highlight of my 15 years in the legislature. It took me 5 years and be able to remove barriers for children that have absolutely no voice and no choice where they live or who their parents are or what zip code they're in located, and being able to have the legislature approve a bill that removes those barriers for all kiddos and recognizing that all children should have access to healthcare has been probably my biggest accomplishment. I had babies while serving in the legislature, having to just juggle and manage my own professional career in the private sector plus my service in the legislature and my family. That's challenging, and that's probably why I focus so much on family-friendly legislation. And I think every parent I've met wants to be part of their kid's life and their education, but when they're working 2 jobs, sometimes 3 jobs, it makes it really hard when there's no access to childcare that's accessible and affordable. It's a nightmare. And then we end up with a lot of more mental health issues. So having my own professional career on the side and trying to work that professional career, but being able to focus on my constituency, which I'm proud to say I've been representing now Senate District 10 for 15 years, and having the diversity of my district has been an empowering and a very fulfilling experience.
And I have to mention, there's the stroller walk to the state capitol tomorrow for anyone who's interested in supporting Luz's causes. And please help me in giving a warm welcome to Luz Escamilla, Utah State Senator.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. It's a real honor, and I'm humble for the opportunity to be surrounded by incredible recipients and awardees of this great award. Thank you, Utah Business, for your persistency, for always being there, being consistent in recognizing our emerging leaders, many of our very solid leaders for many years, and the great work you're doing in the state of Utah. These are incredible times, and one of those pieces is this opportunity to close gender gaps. And certainly the Utah Business and their ability to focus on women makes it easier to recognize how we're getting closer. We still have so much work to do. I want to just first thank my sweet husband and our family, our 6 children. As we have adults, teenagers, and little ones, a 7 and an 8-year-old that I had while serving in the legislature. It's a good reminder that working families are struggling every day. And as I focus in my remarks about taking 5 years to pass a bill to close gaps for kiddos to access health care, now my next thing is childcare. So we're gonna go back to this issue. We need to focus on making sure our families, especially our women, have access to affordable, high-quality childcare. We can do it in Utah. If it's a place where we can do it, it's going to be the state of Utah. So I'm going to need your help. We're going to be focused on private-public partnerships. It's going to be multiple solutions in the toolbox. This is not a silver bullet solution. Not everything works for everyone, but we need to put our money where our mouth is, and that's our children. So with that, I just want to remind everyone that there's going to be a lot of work to do if we want our economy to continue to be strong and to continue to grow We need to really invest in our children and also in our working force. And that working force right now needs childcare. So thank you and enjoy the rest of your day.
I choose to be a banker because I get to help people achieve their dreams. I get to help people save time and money and make their lives better. Farming and ranching, I get to put a seed of hay in the ground, I get to water it, and I get to make it into a bale of hay. I get to have a cow and a bull. They have a calf, and I get to watch that calf be born, and I get to watch that be put into production and become somebody's food. And so it's an addictive habit that I get to see things from start to finish, and I get to see the improvements of, again, people's lives around me. And I just feel it's my responsibility to be out and about to make my community a better place. And what I've learned is the busier I am, the less I feel sorry for myself. I love to take the opportunity to go into elementaries, junior highs, and high schools around my counties. I get to teach kids about checking accounts and savings accounts and loans and why your credit is so important and your integrity is everything. And the next day I get to go in and I get to talk to them about responsibility and accountability, and I get to talk to them about raising hay and raising beef. And so the more that I can be out and about and doing things, the better that I am, and I try to be a contribution to my community.
Well, Joelle could not be here with us today. However, she does have a special person here to accept the award on her behalf. Please give a warm welcome to the former Commissioner of Agriculture for the state of Utah, Logan Wild.
Wow. Joelle was very disappointed that she could not be here today. One of the reasons when I nominated Joelle, she really takes the opportunity to sacrifice and to serve her community to a new level. There is a place in Utah that there is a place for every person in every fascist and every way that they can come. I want to read what she had to say. I get my phone to work. I am very honored and grateful to be even nominated. I am grateful to be involved in two industries that make a difference in people's lives. I get to help people get financing and to get things the way they need and want. And I get to help feed the world. That message of going out and serving others is what Joelle is all about. And I am very thankful to represent her here today. Thank you.
These public jobs aren't easy. On the difficult days, and there are a lot of them, I think about the women and the men, but a lot of those women, those young women who are coming behind me, I want to make sure that I make things easier for them. I look at it not as a glass ceiling, at least in government in Utah. Sometimes it feels more like a brick wall. People encounter obstacles, and you have to figure out if you're going to climb over the wall, if you're going to try to go around the wall, if you're going to dig a hole under the wall, if you're going to smash down those bricks and take them off one at a time. My hope when I'm done with this position is that I've made a path for someone else coming behind me to have an easier time getting over the wall. Figuring out how to get back into the workforce, get back involved in the community after being a stay-at-home mom for 13 years really had an impact on me. It was hard to know how to navigate that. So as Lieutenant Governor in April of 2021, shortly after I took office, Governor Cox and I actually launched a returnship program called Return Utah to help people, women and men, who've been out of the workforce for an extended period of time get back in. We want to provide as much opportunity to as many people as possible, and removing those artificial barriers that sometimes get put in place is one of those ways, and we've done that with the Return Utah program.
Congratulations to Deidre. She also is unable to join us today. However, please join me in welcoming from Rev Road Capital, Rachel Morris, who will be accepting the award on her behalf.
Well, my good friend, Lieutenant Governor Deidre Henderson, could not join the party today. She is away on Lieutenant Governor official business. So she asked me to accept the award on her behalf. And so last night when I asked her what she'd like me to highlight, she goes, "Oh, I trust you, Rochelle." And that's very dangerous because I'm a venture capitalist, and venture capitalists know how to take risks. So, no, but in all seriousness, I've been so blown away by the leadership of our Lieutenant Governor. She has inspired and created career pathways for women across the state with the launch and oversight of Return Utah. She has advocated for victims of domestic violence, both in state policy and funding work. She has brought electricity for the first time to Westwater, a small Navajo community in southern Utah. She's decriminalized polygamy, and she even hosts women's golf clinics around the state to make golf more accessible for women in both the public and private sector. On top of all these initiatives that are fun or noteworthy to talk about and easy to talk about in public about our Lieutenant Governor, she has also overseen our state's elections with integrity, strength, and increased transparency at a time when election integrity is constantly being threatened and weaponized across our country. The perfect execution of elections is a relatively thankless job, but in this current political climate, it comes with great cost. When Deidre says in her video that we just watched that there are many difficult days of holding public office, we may think to ourselves, yeah, I hear you, sis. But these aren't just days that are full of meetings and negotiations and sometimes eating protein bars instead of a real lunch. For Deidre Henderson, as our elections officer for the state of Utah, it also means receiving death threats and other violent threats against her and her family. It means training and being a therapist to 21 new county clerks across the state since becoming Lieutenant Governor, because our veteran clerks are saying good riddance to conspiracy theorists who troll them. And yet, how many minutes of sleep have we lost over the last few years because of election integrity in our state? We haven't. We haven't, because that's how good Deidre Henderson is at her job as our elections officer. Yeah, And so how did our Utah State Legislature thank our Lieutenant Governor for tireless work in overseeing last year's 2022 elections? They took away her security budget in the 11th hour of this year's legislative session. They took away her security budget, that's right. This brave leader, our state's second in command, is the target of violent threats and doesn't have any security right now. And unlike our Senator Mitt Romney, doesn't have the personal wealth to pay it herself. Our Lieutenant Governor is a shining example of what is possible for women who take action and work to improve their community. Too often, women with courage who find themselves in positions of power also fight silent attacks behind the scenes. In Deidre's case, those attacks put her very safety in question. I have no doubt that the purpose of this was to silence or discourage her, as we so often as women in the private sector have felt in our careers. There is so much power in this room. I admire so many of the great women who are being honored today. Just as Deidre said in her video that she's trying to make things easier for women in our state, let us as women leaders in the private sector make things easier for our Lieutenant Governor, Deidre Henderson. Thank you.
My goals for the future of the Women's Leadership Institute is to continue to elevate the stature of women's leadership in business and in politics. I believe in politics, very few women really aspire to running for political office. But I can tell you, if you want to develop your leadership skills, run for office, when you think about the skills that are needed, they're very much honed when you're running for political office. Number one, the ability to speak in public, where a lot of people are fearful of doing that. Secondly, writing skills, written communication. If you're running for the legislature, as I did, or other public offices, you have this blank slate where you can put your mark, your indelible mark in many cases, on policies that will benefit the state, benefit constituencies from there on. Utah has impacted my career because I'm a native here. We're seeing fewer and fewer natives. But I have seen the growth in Utah, and I think it's a growth in our business community who really wants to empower women. And this is why I love the Women's Leadership Institute, is because we help them understand how we go through the steps that they need to take in order to change culture to benefit women and men.
Please give a warm welcome to the Chief Executive Officer of the Women's Leadership Institute and someone who I have to say I personally look up to, Patricia Jones-Horton.
What a pleasure it is to be here today. Thank you so much, the Utah Business, and congratulations to the other recipients and all of the great leaders in our state. When I was in third grade, I used to love to play baseball, and I would be picked when they would have the two boys, would pick usually boys to go out and play on the playground during recess. And never did they ever pick a girl, until I asked to be part of that and wanted to be picked to go play baseball with them. And so I was a first baseman, and I was a fast runner. And those two things combined really helped me ingratiate myself with some of the men who were young at that time, and it was so fun to do that. After class, we would go to the Little League baseball park. And the very boys that I would play with during recess would go out on the field and play Little League ball. And I remember watching them with my hands through the chain link fence, never thinking once that I was able to or should be on the field with them at the very same time that during the recess time, I was able to do that. Things have changed a little. As head of the Women's Leadership Institute, I'm often asked what I have learned through this journey of elevating women in business and in politics. And here's what I've learned. I've learned that women possess inherent competencies that are underutilized and undervalued. I've learned that two essential attributes help women become the leaders that are so greatly needed today. Those attributes are confidence and opportunity. Confidence is built through mentors and sponsors, both women and men. A willingness to take risks and to embrace the inevitable failure from time to time. Recent studies show that, in fact, confidence increases significantly for women once they hit 50 years of age. So I'm in good company. I'm really happy about that. Another thing that women need to do more is to intentionally think about what we want. We don't often do that. We are so busy serving other people, that we need to start thinking about what we want and then communicate clearly those wants to the right people who have the influence to make change. With opportunity to get sustainable traction, men need to be engaged, involved, and invested in advocating for women. To jumpstart that kind of advocacy, men need information and education about how to open doors and opportunity. Men need also to become aware of the value of gender diversity. We at the Women's Leadership Institute are in the 9th year of elevating women and transforming women into strong leaders. Through our Elevate Her Challenge, our Career Development Series, our Rising Leader Series, and our Political Development Series, we are shaping and developing female leaders, building confidence, and creating opportunity. We are striving to ensure that women dream more, do more, learn more, and become the best versions of themselves. Thank you very much.
I represented abused and neglected kids in Washington, D.C., and then when we moved back to Utah, I learned that suicide is the leading cause of death for our LGBTQ youth. I got a crazy idea that I could do something to help, so we opened a home in downtown Provo. We called it Encircle, and it's a place where, a safe space that kids can come every day after school, do programs, receive therapy, and mostly learn that they're perfect just as they are. Everything was unknown. I didn't know very much about nonprofits, and I guess I just learned a little bit every day. And I remember in the beginning, I would just say to myself over and over, be brave, be brave. But part of Encircle that I think makes it unique is that we focus on the family. We want the parents to come the day their child comes out so that they get support and help through this so that we can keep families together. For me, Utah's about the people. I think we have the most incredible people and the most incredible communities. I love the way Utah supports each other. I want everyone in Utah to feel at home and know that they're loved and valued for just who they are.
Welcome to the stage, Stephanie Larson, founder and former Chief Executive Officer of Encircle.
Gosh, I don't even know what to say except for thank you for this honor. When I did Encircle, it's about the youth who are amazing and who should know that they are loved and have every opportunity for a bright future. I want to thank the women here who do so much to move Utah forward, for myself and for my daughters. I hate to see that Utah has the biggest wage gap disparity between genders in the country, and it's the people here today who are helping change that. And so thank you for that, and especially for all of you at Utah Business. I'm very grateful. Thanks.
I think there's many times I've had wonderful people in my career that haven't underestimated me and have actually been great mentors and allies and sponsors, and those are the times I really try to reflect on. But I will say the times I have been underestimated has propelled me to do even bigger and brighter things and continue to be competitive. I think most of us have that competitive spirit. I do really believe you can have a very robust or rich experience. And you can do that with your community, you can do that in your career, your family. We're a lot of things to a lot of people. I want to be the daughter, the granddaughter, the mom, plus a career experience, and I want to be part of my community and giving back. And what I always say to my team and particularly my direct reports is it's all about prioritization. There's many times, especially when you have a job like mine, that the company has to come first. There's periods of times where that's a non-negotiable moment. So I have to prioritize the company then, and that's okay with me. But on the times that I can take away or step back, then I prioritize my family or my social needs, or I'm a board member on my children's school, and make sure that I make those commitments. So I think it's all about each day just being able to, some days you have to totally prioritize one thing, but then some days you have to prioritize multiple things. You can fit it all in if you prioritize, and make sure to use your calendar.
Please give a warm welcome to the Chief Financial Officer of the new Bed Bath & Beyond, Adrienne Lee.
What a morning or afternoon so far. First of all, wanted to thank Utah Business. I am extremely honored and humbled, try not to get emotional, and I'm also very inspired to be among all these wonderful honorees this year, as well as my Overstock or new Bed Bath & Beyond team here right in front. As I talked about in the video, many of us are mentors, we're sponsors, we're allies, but I did want to leave you with a quote that I really liked, and it reminds us that we also need to show up for ourselves. It is not too late, you are not too old, you are right on time, and you are better than you know. Thank you very much.
I hope that more people realize that there is such a big wage gap. And these people that are going hungry doesn't necessarily mean that they're not good people. They're people that just maybe made bad choices in their life, or just the luck of the draw, and they just need some help. And I hope that more of us can have more empathy for people in need, because there's just a huge need, not only in St. George, but I believe in the whole state of Utah. I'm most proud of the accomplishments that Neighborhood Connection has made, and we have a few hundred volunteers. We're beating them off with sticks. It's just amazing what a little, because we're a small organization, and what a little organization like ours, and what a difference it can make into one community. So I don't have a university education, and a lot of people said, well, you can't do things. And I've had a lot of good mentors in my life, a lot of good women mentors that said we can do anything. And I believe them. And so within my heart of hearts, I believe that if I'm passionate enough about something, I can do it. And it might not work out every time, but that's okay. Then you just start something new. So I'm pretty proud of that.
Congratulations and welcome all the way from Southern Utah, Neighborhood Connections founder and executive director, Donna McBean.
Good afternoon, everybody. I want to start off by thanking Utah Business for this award. It is an honor to be recognized for something that I'm so passionate about. I can't begin to tell you how much this means to me. We're a small nonprofit trying to make a difference in our community by feeding children, and we are making a difference. And I have a little story to tell you about the difference we made with one child. One day when I was at one of the schools, a young boy, around 7 years old, came up to me and put his arms around my leg and said that This is hard to say. Since we have been feeding him, he doesn't have to steal anymore. Feeding the children isn't just about food. I would not be able to do this work, and if it were not for my friends and my army of volunteers. And I want to do a special thank you to Dr. Erin O'Brien, who has been with me since the beginning, and Don Willie, who continually inspires me. And I'd be remiss in saying a big thank you to the contingent from St. George and Eureka that came up to support me today. Thank you very much, everybody.
I think there's a lot of conversation today about what makes a great leader, and in my opinion, there are a lot of great leaders, but I think women are coming into their own, and I think the reason for that is they lead in a different way. And for me, it's compassion, love, and service. I think I don't have to be heavy-handed. I can be understanding. I can listen and share and make myself available as a mentor. And so I think those are the things that I lead with because they come naturally to me. And they've seemed to be the right things. So I've served in the homeless area, which has been very impactful for me. I've served on Intermountain's board, been their chair, Intermountain Healthcare. I serve on Zion's Bank Board, Advisory Board. I serve on the Kim Gardner Policy Institute. All of these areas are things that I care about, but they also teach me a lot, and they make it possible for me to interact in the community in a way that I otherwise wouldn't be able to. And all of that has come about since Larry passed away, because until that time, I was a housewife, a stay-at-home mom and wife. So I've had a big adventure.
Gail, I think that's an understatement, m'lady. Please give a warm welcome to Gail Miller, the co-founder and owner of the Larry H. Miller Company.
Wow, what an honor. Thank you to those who have made this possible, for Utah Business and whoever it was that nominated me. It's a humbling experience. Thank you. I want to thank my family for being here, and my colleagues, those who support me at work, and those who help me be who I am today. I have to say that my foundation is as a mother. And everything I learned as a mother translated into the business world, because I learned anger management. I learned how to be an inventory control clerk. I learned finance management. All of the things you do as a mother help you transition into the world. But I think the most important work that I have done is within the walls of my own home. However, when Larry passed away, my children were grown. They had launched themselves, and stepping into the business world was an adventure. And I felt like I could find my voice and I could make a difference in ways that I never had before. I have been honored to be able to do that, not only in the business world, but in the community. And I hope that I can continue that for a long time. I just wish I was about 10 years younger. So thank you for this honor. Thank you for your attendance today and for your support in all that I do. Thank you.
I'm grateful that there are a lot of accomplishments that I've been proud of. I always start with my bachelor's because that felt like such a steep mountain in my life with my circumstances. And I thought that that would be the peak, and I felt really proud and accomplished. And I think that that was the moment that once I got to the top of that mountain, I saw other mountains that I could climb. So I think that that set the stage for the rest of my career, both personally and professionally. The education sector has shaped who I am today because it has been the access for me to social mobility, to different opportunities, to the middle class. And it was actually the place where someone saw something in me, invested in me, and opened up a whole new world. A specific project that stands out is in 2020, I started my service as CEO at YWCA Utah, and that was also the time of the racial reckoning happening across the United States in response to the murder of George Floyd. Thinking about how we could respond as an organization, how I could respond as a person, we decided to do a 21-day race equity and social justice challenge. And that was something I worked on very personally, designing it day by day. I'm really proud of that work, and I still hear from people today who say that they were impacted by that work. And it was intentionally designed to bring as many people along, wherever they may be starting, but to bring them along on a journey of creating a more inclusive world.
Welcome to the stage from YWCA Utah, their Chief Executive Officer, Liz Owens.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am so honored to receive this award today, and I have so many people to thank. But I want to start first with my mom, who is here. Thank you so much for the example of your strength, your love, support. It's been a guiding light for my life, so thank you. I also want to thank and congratulate my fellow honorees who, it is such a privilege really beyond words to be in your company. I want to acknowledge my husband, who's also here, for his love and support, especially in this past year. We welcomed a second child into the crazy mix of our life, and balancing motherhood and a career has been very rewarding and very, very hard and impossible without his support. It's a testament to the community and the collective support that is needed for all of us to achieve our dreams. I have the privilege for working for an organization with a bold and powerful mission to eliminate racism, empower women, and promote peace, justice, and freedom and dignity for all. And I get to see every day the impact of our work on the lives of countless women and children, including through childcare. And this recognition is really a reaffirmation for me to my commitment to that cause and the continued necessity of our important work. Lastly, I want to thank the women in my life who surround me and uplift me and who contribute to all of my success. My table is filled with those women. My organization is filled with those women. My life, this room, is filled with those women. And I honor you, I see you, and I thank you. So with radical gratitude and joy, thank you so much.
You know, coaching is a very public profession, and so you have to be able to take the hits and just keep on going. I think success in anything, any endeavor, when you talk about leadership and vision and all that, it comes down to the right people, hiring the right staff that I have, and then recruiting the right type of players that fit not only our program, but Salt Lake City and the greater community. But I think it takes time and a lot of hard work. But at the end of the day, you have to have a vision that you're targeting and chipping away at. And it takes a lot of persistence, a lot of grit, a lot of getting yourself up when you've been knocked down. And as a woman in a predominantly male world, that can be even particularly challenging. But that's the fight I love. I love trying to convince people to believe in the vision and believe that what I think is possible can become reality, and then it's incredibly validating when it happens. Men and women are different, and I don't think that needs to be combative or zero sum. I think the collective energy is what makes it really powerful. And so I love it, and I think more women need, my humble opinion, us women need to quit apologizing, be who we are, show up and not apologize for having a seat at the table, and be prepared and have confidence in what you're saying, and that's how you change the reality, by changing the perception of what it is like to have a woman at the table.
Can I get an amen on that one? All right, unfortunately, Lynn could not be here with us today. However, accepting the award on her behalf, please welcome number 24 and guard for the University of Utah women's basketball team, Kennedy McQueen.
Hello everyone, it's an honor to be here today. When Coach Rob asked me to do this, I asked if I was her least favorite. Is that why I got chosen? But it really is an honor to be here with you all. So my name is Kennedy McQueen, and I am a senior on the University of Utah women's basketball team. I'm thankful for this opportunity to accept this award on Coach Roberts' behalf. A business and a basketball team actually have many things in common. The staff and players make up the company, and Coach Roberts is our leader, or CEO. Coach Roberts' job is to ensure company success by hiring staff and recruiting athletes that strengthens our collective weaknesses and contributes to the culture that we want to maintain. On my official visit, Coach Roberts told me about the vision she had since taking over this job. This vision was to become a winning program, put Utah basketball on the map, and become eventual Pac-12 champions. Last year, she was able to make that vision become a reality by leading our team to a Pac-12 championship and making a deep run in the NCAA tournament. Coach Roberts is an incredible leader and is someone who I'd want to follow through any challenge. She's the perfect woman to receive this award because she encompasses everything this award represents. Thank you.
I have loved my career path, but I could have never anticipated all the different turns and opportunities that would come along the way. Mostly I feel incredibly blessed because I have worked with and learned from among the best mentors a person could ever ask for. And now here I am back home in the media where I started as a young, tender 21-year-old. And it's really exciting to be back in that day-to-day media world. I will never forget being in Malawi, Africa, and handing a bowl of steaming hot cereal, highly nutritive, specially formulated for malnourished children cereal, to a child that was in a care center because that child's parents had died of AIDS. I didn't come up with this. I got to ride on a moving train with this, but there is the Force for Good Foundation at New Skin, and they have now fed children like that child 800 million meals. And so to get to be part of the Nourish the Children program and serve a meal is something that left an indelible impression on me, and I was so grateful to be a part of that. You make a lot of decisions by the time you're my age, and I think the best decision I ever made was to not look back, always look forward, try to lift wherever you are, build wherever you are, and keep going. And as long as I have gas in the tank, then I'm excited to keep moving forward and looking ahead to the future.
Everyone, please give a warm welcome to the former Senior Vice President and Chief Reputation Officer at New Skin and current Executive Vice President and Chief Content Officer at Bonneville International, Ruth Todd.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Utah Business Magazine, and thank you to all of my fellow honorees. So I feel honored to be in your presence. I'm especially appreciative of my own family that's here today. My good husband, 3 of our 5 children are here. My daughter-in-law is also here, and 2 brand new, 2 of our 11 grandchildren that are just a few weeks old, so they came with their moms and they're here. So if you hear a squeak, that's ours. I am so appreciative today and just want to pay tribute to 2 women in my life that made a huge difference. First of all, my mother. My mother lives in Arizona, and she raised 7 children, 5 of whom are women. And she taught all 7 of her children, both the girls and the boys, to Work hard. Leave things a little better than you found them. Lift as you go, and that's how you have a purposeful life. And I learned that from her, and now she's about to turn 89 at the turn of the new year, and she's still as sassy and spunky and giving us all that great example every day still. And I love her and pay tribute to my own mother, Ann Jones. The other woman I'd like to pay tribute to today is my mother-in-law. She passed away, but she was born in the 1920s. And I met her when she was 63 years old, and I was dating her youngest son. And I learned from her so many good things. And they were, like Gail said, things that you learned from your mother or your mother-in-law or strong women in your life. She was approached with her girlfriends to do something that could raise some money for the Primary Children's Hospital, as it was called at the time. And so she and her friends got together, looked around the country, and decided they would follow a good idea that they had seen, and they started the Festival of the Trees years ago, and now you know what a huge event that is, and the millions of dollars that has made for Primary Children's Medical Center. She also served on the Utah Women's Legislative Council for many, many years, and helped get started the Utah Girls Ranch. Then it became the Utah Youth Village, which helped young teens that had fallen on hard times have a better start. It's those women that made a difference, and every one of us in this room stands on the shoulders of those women who did it because they loved their communities and wanted to make it better. They loved their families and wanted to improve the neighborhoods or the schools. We do stand on their shoulders, so I commend and applaud you for all that you have done collectively in this room, what you are doing right now, and what we will all do together, linking arms in the future. Thank you very much.
The accomplishments that I think I would be most proud of course, would be my sons, first of all. And second of all, I was really proud of the team and our work when we created a massive nutrition program for the children in the Head Start program that required building a kitchen from scratch, having meals made from scratch, delivering them out hot, and serving about 600,000 meals a year. That was a big lift. I also loved learning construction. I've done 7 buildings, commercial buildings, and that was something new that I had never done before. And now in my next life, that's what I want to do, is be in general construction or project management. My goals for women in this state are for them to find a really strong voice and to be applauded and surrounded by their male allies and by one another. That they lift one another up, they make it easier for young women to move to the next stage of their life, whether it's in a business setting, whether it's in their homes. There is an opportunity there for men and women to elevate women as leaders in this community in all capacities.
Welcome our Women of the Year honoree from Success in Education, their Vice President, Erin Trimbuth Murray.
Well, first of all, what an honor and a privilege to be here this afternoon, and thank you to Utah Business and to the panel who put so much thoughtful consideration into all the women. I was thinking about our population and roughly 1.5 million in Utah, and so many that, so many that should be in this room and that are day in and day out doing remarkable things. I'd like to thank my husband Jeff and my sons Jackson and Harrison, who have been so supportive of me as men in my life, pushing me forward, challenging me as a woman in leadership and in business. It has meant the world to me. And thank you to my team. I love working with the Success in Education team and the Garf family that continually have my back. And as John Garf always tells me, of course you can do it, just don't screw it up. So I love that I have the humor and the support of those around me. I'd love to share with you that 2.5 years ago, Kathy Garf and I began Women Who Succeed as part of the Success in Education Foundation, with the purpose to grow confidence and leadership in young women and girls. We do that by providing scholarships, internships, and mentors. So if any of you are interested, you come and see me afterward, because the next generation of young women need us to help make that learning curve a little easier and a little bit easier, opening doors for opportunities for leadership and post-secondary education. Lastly, I'd like to thank, as Ruth did, my mom, Lynn Trenbeth, who was my most paramount role model of my life. And I love to use a quote from Calamity Jane that reminds me of my mom, the mentees that I've had, the women that I get to work with, the women that mentor me. She said, "I figure if a woman wants to be a legend, she should just go ahead and be one." Thank you.
Some of the accomplishments that I'm most proud of are to make my way in the world, from the slums to taking advantage of every opportunity to improve myself and serve others and have a great adventure around the world. I've worked on Wall Street, I've worked in the tech industry. My first big employer was actually Harvard. And so all of these experiences brought me to the point where I felt I was qualified enough to apply for a university presidency, even though I'd never intended to be a university president. It's been an amazing, wild, unpredictable, but really great journey. And education liberates the mind. To learn to think critically is to know how to live well and how to die well. There is a $30,000 median difference in income between those who have a high school degree versus those of a college degree, and it amounts to about $1 million in the lifetime of a person. Education is actually what we need to preserve the American dream and to expand the field of opportunity for all Americans from every walk of life, no matter who they are and where they are and what's happened to them. If you come to a university, chances are you will leave better equipped to face work and to face life.
Congratulations, and please welcome the president of Utah Valley University, Dr. Astrid S. Tumenez.
I'm just grateful in that second half of the video, somebody told me to move the hair, on the side of my face. So thank you, Utah Business, and thank you to all of you who are here today. How inspiring to be honored with a group of women whose stories are remarkable and full of lessons and hope. So I want to thank the people at my table, my colleagues and friends, supporters of Utah Valley University. I call the university an enterprise that's engaged in the business of hope. And we are 50% men, 50% women in enrollment now. We have a Women's Success Center. So we do a lot to educate women and empower them. We even have lactation pods throughout campus so you can, do your thing with your baby. And I also want to thank my husband who's at my table, courtesy to New Yorker cartoons. I think of Jeffrey Tolk as the guy who got on his knees and said, "Will you be the woman who hires the nanny who raises my children?" Together, we have raised 3 remarkable children who are such a challenge that they keep me so humble all the time. And also, when we got engaged at Harvard University, Jeffrey also said to me, "Hey, by the way, you're responsible for your own happiness." That really was a source of wisdom and guidance in my life, in the choices I have made in my life and my career. Finally, mothers have been mentioned. We have literal mothers and metaphorical mothers. I lost my mother 6 months ago, and she really was a remarkable woman. She was born and raised in a farming and fishing village on the island of Guimaras in the Philippines. And when she was 17 years old, she told her mother she and her mother were ostracized because the father never married her mother. She told her mom, she said, "I'm so tired of eating the same fish. I'm going to go to the city." And so she went to the city, practiced her English, and got a job with Indian merchants selling textile. And so my mother had such a sense of adventure. When she raised her children, she moved us to the slums of the city so we could have better access to education. And she suffered an incredible amount in her life, but she had a backbone that was unbreakable. So, thank you.
I've spent the bulk of my career building and opening luxury shopping destinations like City Creek Center. City Creek itself is special, but Utah's also special. And so this is a place where I wanted to be able to put down some roots and really spend some time. And so I told my boss and our company that I really wanted to make a commitment to this community, and then I felt like it was a place that I wanted to be home for me. And so it's been great for me to live here and become a part of the community. It's important as a leader to be approachable and accessible. And those are two things I try to lead with every day. I try to spend time with, all of my team members, every day. But I also think it's important to lead with integrity and respect. We have a sort of a set of core values that we run our company with, and to me, the most important value is respect. And I have a tremendous amount of respect for my boss and for all of the people on our team, and I think they know that. I respect them not only for the work that they do, but also for who they are. And I think if we lead with that it makes everything that comes after so much easier.
A big round of applause and congratulations to Linda Wardell, City Creek Center's General Manager.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you to Utah Business. You've all done such an incredible job of making us all feel so special, and it's incredible to be included in this great group of women today. I know we've all said that, but what an incredible group of women today. I also want to thank Deborah Hoyt from the University of Utah. It's Deborah's fault that I'm here today, so thank you so much to Deborah. She's been my friend forever, and she too is such an incredible part of our community. There's a very special person in this room today. He is my boss, Dave Harris. Dave is special, I think, to many women in Utah because 13 years ago, Dave decided that he wanted a woman to lead City Creek Center. So I think Dave deserves a round of applause. 13 years ago, when I arrived in Utah, there just weren't that many women in business. And it was certainly a brave and bold decision to have a woman lead City Creek Center. So I'm eternally grateful that Dave gave me this job, which I love so much. And so Dave, thank you every day. I'm also excited that we have the City Creek Center team here today. We win as a team, and I'll just say that we have 76 days until Christmas. So not only do you all have to get your shop on, but we have to get our shop on too. The City Creek Center team, some are here today, some are back running the center, but they're an incredible group of people, and I talked about respect, but they really make every day fun and engaging and inspiring, and you probably don't really know that we exist if you've ever had a great experience at City Creek Center. We're supposed to be invisible, so they're the people that you should thank, and this is really all about them. They do all of the hard work, and I do most of the fun things, and so they're really inspiring, and I appreciate them and love them all so much. And finally, there's been another theme, I think, here today, and it's been about mothers. And so isn't it interesting how a lot of us have talked about our moms and how much they mean to us? But my 87-year-old mother is here with me today, And she's given me 3 gifts that I'm really grateful for, probably way more than 3 gifts, but the 3 most important gifts. She's given me my faith, my love of my family, and my lifelong love of learning. And Mom, I love you so much, and I'm so proud to be your daughter. So thank you all so much.
I've had a lot of change in my career because of the extreme diversity from sports to military to finance and a few things in between. I have had to learn how to adapt quickly, how to absorb information quickly, how to be resilient. And I realized not too long ago, I'm really good with change. In fact, change is exhilarating. Change makes you think differently. There's always a different way to think differently. 2 key skill sets that was the thread throughout everything I've ever done. One was telling the story, whether that's presentations or writing, or talking to mass audiences or one-on-one. Those kinds of skill sets just transferred through every single career that I was ever in. The second one was developing relationships and learning how to connect with people. I don't think AI is ever going to replace that. You have to know how to connect with people, right? Because that's where you get ideas that you didn't have before. You're bouncing off people all the time, right? And once I figured that out, it was like, I can be in any industry.
We are happy to celebrate the Mountain America Credit Union Senior Vice President of PR and Organizational Communications, Charlene Wells.
Thank you to Utah Business. What a great event. And as others have already said, how awesome to be in this room with a lot of women that I know just because I've been around a long time, and I've learned so much from you, and I admire so many of you, and those of you I don't know, I really want to get to know, and I want to learn from you as well. Things like this, where you're recognized, whether it's an award or a milestone or something, to me, like with the rest of you, it's been fun listening to everybody. It reflects the people in my life, whether it's personal or professional. And I have my 95-year-old dad here with me. My mom passed away earlier this year, and she's here too, I know, and my sister Elaine, representing the family that I love and like. That doesn't always happen. So I feel really grateful for that. And that's where I got my foundational core values. That's where I learned how to face hardship head on, not only with resiliency, but with a spirit of opportunity. That's where I learned to be bold, to take risks, to not fear failure, and to have what my dad always refers to as the spirit of adventure. And in my professional life, right now I've got my colleagues here from Mountain America, which has been a phenomenal place for me to land the last part of my career. There at Mountain America, we have an award-winning, world-class culture I've never seen anywhere else, and I've been a few places. And that's where, innovative thinking and action is not only encouraged, applauded, and if you fail fast, but it's a great place to be where people are kind. I remember being in one of my first meetings with the executive team, and after a few minutes, it dawned on me that I was hearing conflict because I didn't recognize it right off the bat. I was used to working Department of Defense or at ESPN where you hear all sorts of colorful words. And I wasn't hearing this kind of colorful language, but after a while I went, oh, I think they're disagreeing. But they were doing it so agreeably that I had to think about what they were doing, and I love being in a culture like that. Melanie asked me a question when we were doing the videotaping that why I didn't think of it, I don't know, but she said, what does this award mean to you? And I've thought of a couple of things as I've reflected back on a very zigzag career. To me, it means, back to again, the people in my life, it means the people who took a chance on me. I remember those people. I honor those people. When I was 21 years old, and it was KSL, who, when I said, I want to do sports, and no women are doing sports, there were like a handful, and they put me out there to give it a shot. I didn't know what I was doing, but boy, did I learn fast. And those in the Department of Defense who took a chance on me. And Mountain America, I had not been in financial industry before, so they took a chance on me. But I took a break of a few years, like many of you, to focus on my kids. And as I had stepped back from television after spending a lot of years with ESPN, I looked back on what I had done and what I wanted to do later. I realized, this is the second thing that this recognition means to me, is that I realized I had to do things with passion and purpose. I didn't want to spend the rest of my career just being on the sidelines or, that kind of thing where I'm reporting on other people. That serves an important role, but it wasn't for me. I wanted to make a difference in my community. And I found that, whether it was in the Department of Defense and now at Mountain America. I mean, we've gone from a handful of scholarships to now 120 scholarships that we're doing, $300,000. It was a big, big change, and we're changing lives. And I'm reading these notes from these kids as they come in. And as we're focusing on changing lives in the Hispanic community and many other cultures that we're focusing on. So it's really wonderful to be at the last stage of my career, to be someplace where I can focus on passion and purpose. But anyway, thank you so much to Utah Business for this opportunity to be with all of you and to reflect on the great things that so many women are doing in our state. Thank you.
All of the stories that we support, and basically what we do is provide capital to talent, is a reflection of who we are as a society. And too often, we don't hear from the point of view of people that have been underrepresented in the media. Representation turns out to be huge. It makes an imprint on the way that we see the world at a very, very young age. So supporting talented storytellers and looking for points of view that we don't hear enough of, not because they're in the margins, but because their stories haven't been amplified, is really, really important to us. It's just a fundamental business practice. My advice for people that want to get into this business is always the same, and that is you can only learn it by doing it. So to pick your mentors wisely, pick the storytellers that, the shoulders that you want to stand on, and to read. I mean, really, honestly, the most important thing you can be in this world is well-read and be curious. It's sort of like you diving into stories and reading a lot of nonfiction and predicting some of the canaries on the rim, or, seeing around corners. You can only do that as a reader. So my advice to everybody as storytellers or leaders is be a reader.
Congratulations to Geraldine White-Dreyfus, the executive producer and founder of the Utah Film Center and co-founder of Impact Partners.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for your patience. It's kind of overwhelming, the number of extraordinary women in this room, and a good reminder for me, who's lived here now for almost 30 years, how much this state has changed and how warm and embracing and encouraging it's been to me personally, but also I think to women. Despite our wealth gap, there's like a real sense of community here and women that have always helped other women. So I've been very appreciative of the community and culture here in Utah. My recommendation was that, to be a leader, you have to be a reader, and we're living in very tricky times. when it comes to reading because of the amount of disinformation that's on our social media platforms. And Rochelle alluded a lot to election security today. And I just guess I want to say that in this coming year, there's 30 elections happening around the world in the largest democracies, and we've gone from a world where we were 60% authoritarianism into 72 in the last 12. And we have to fight for our freedoms and our basic beliefs at the ballot box. And I think that the one way that you can do that is being informed by reading, but also by watching documentaries and getting different points of view. And I'm very proud of what the Salt Lake Tribune's done to resurrect our paper here in this community, but I also think that the public television in our community deserves support, and Sundance as a flagship purveyor of independent content and discovery and talent deserves our support. And I'm very proud of the Utah Film Center. This is our 20th anniversary this year. We have a big festival coming up with Damn These Heels. But these stories that bring us together to learn and to challenge what we thought we know are very, very important. And I cherish them deeply in all of you, and thank you very much.
I chose to come to Utah with my husband because it's just a fantastic place to live, to raise a family, to be part of a community, and I could not be more excited about locating more of my work here in Utah. It is a goal, a mission, a purpose to make Utah the best place, not just it's just so critically important to our overall wellness. And we are raised in a culture, we are raised in a society that doesn't support us on that journey to owning that financial power. Because you know what? Money in the hands of women, I'm just gonna say it, they do good things with it. But it's how we earn, how we spend, how we invest, how we give. How do we protect ourselves, our families? And I am just on this crusade, you might call it, to support women on that journey.
And to our final honoree of the afternoon, congratulations. Welcome to the stage, the founder of She Money, She Place, Jackie Zahner.
Hello. Wow. What an afternoon. I first heard the quote, "Do what you can with what you have where you are," a very long time ago when I was leaving my full-time career at Goldman Sachs. And I was turning my attention and my intention to what I knew even at that time was my calling. I think you heard it up there, which is to support this journey that we're all on to advance gender equity and inclusion. I knew that was my mission. I didn't know what direction it would take. It's kind of been a wandering road, but it landed me back here in Utah with all of you today in this boardroom, at the Grand American Hotel, this conference room, celebrating so many incredible women so many of which have already become my friends. And actually, it's a funny story to follow Geraldine, because when I kind of went kicking and screaming to Utah 13 years ago, I was like, Utah? Why do I want to live in Utah? I don't have family or friends in Utah. And they're like, Geraldine Dreyfus lives in Utah. So someone introduced me, and Geraldine really welcomed me with open arms. So what a joy to be here and following her today. And of course, I want to thank the people who nominated me, and Utah Business, and my family, my husband Greg, my daughter Allie, so my friends, our She Plays team is here today championing for us. And I appreciate and value this recognition, both personally and really because it's in service to this mission that we have, this passion that you just heard about, which is really genuinely and 100% all in to help make Utah the best place for us all, but especially for Women Plus to work, live, and thrive. And what I said up there, and I know it is true, money matters, not because it's an ends, but because it's a means. And we have a saying that, money does not solve all of life's problems, but it can almost always help. And we are here building this brand new little teeny-weeny company here in Utah because we want to make Utah the center of the country when it comes to women and money and seeing women thrive. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much to all of you for joining us today as we recognize these trailblazing women. Ladies, just know the next generation is watching, and you could be the inspiration for the next woman in your field to continue the path that you are now walking. So thanks to all of you. Can we give them all a really big hand? All right, now for a little bit of fun here. Ballet West has graciously donated 2 tickets to their premiere of Dracula. So if you all still have your tickets, pull those out right now. Let's see who's going to go to the show. All right. I'm digging deep here. I'm digging deep. Okay, the winner is ticket number 032157. I hear a lot of moans. Any yays? Is there a clap? All right, it seems like we got a winner. All right, congratulations. Where should they go? Oh, come right up here. We've got it right up here. My bad. Here we go. Okay, so you may have also noticed that there's a QR code in the middle of your table. That's for a complimentary year subscription to the Utah Business Magazine. So all you have to do, scan that, complete the registration, you get that monthly publication for free. We also like to do our part in recycling, so if you could, please leave that name badge that you're wearing on your table. We'll go ahead and collect those. And parking's paid for, so if you didn't get a voucher when you walked in, make sure you go to that sign-up table and grab one on the way out. And one last thank you to the Grand America Hotel and their amazing servers. They did a wonderful job. And again, thank you all for joining us today. Congratulations, everyone.